Hello there, my beautiful souls. My name is Hunter from Hunter's Healing Heart. I'm a health, wellness, and ascension coach, helping you rise towards your highest frequency, vibration, and truth. And the paper's flying away from me here, so give me one moment. And today, guys, we are going to be talking about apologies and conflict within relationships, and why this is crucial to reach the deeper states of intimacy and the deepest states of love, guys. And this is hard, this is challenging, and it's meant to, right? And so before we dive in, guys, what we're gonna do is we have to talk about some important concepts before we start going into how to really honor this, right? And so one, conflict, especially if love is present, guys, it's inevitable, and it is meant for you to grow and start stepping into a higher version of yourself, right? And so I'm sure all of you can relate. You've had relationships where it's just like, I'm neutral towards this person, right? It's like, I don't feel like a genuine pull. They're a good person, yada, yada. Your heart's not in it. But then you have relationships where, holy moly, like there's a pull, there's magnetism here, there's something in here that I'm being drawn towards, right? So it has a deeper state to reveal the truth within you. And that is pivotal, guys. Pivotal for your becoming. And all your relationships are a reflection of the relationship towards yourself. You tend to attract emotionally unavailable people. I wonder why. There's something in you that's seeking that validation, seeking that truth, right? And there is no perfect relationship. You are going to get triggered. There is going to be ups and downs, and it's how you navigate that stuff together that shows the integrity and the overall strength of the relationship, guys. Once again, easy to get through the good times, but how do you show up when the wounding and insecurities and weaknesses start coming up? And that's where a lot of people bail, right? And there are some people who just like the good parts of relationships, and they don't recognize the value and really the importance of that other part, guys. And I'll get into this more later. And you need two concepts to really honor the conflict repair process, guys. One, you have to take accountability and ownership. You have to take accountability and ownership. You have to take accountability and ownership of your part, guys, because it's not all just the other person. You played a role in terms of your behavior, how you reacted, how you responded, your energy. And by you doing that, guys, it's going to strengthen the foundation of the relationship, because you're not basing it on being right? And it feels good. Like, oh, I've read all the relationship books and I've read all the attachment styles and this is... It's like, get that shit out of here. We don't have time for that. We have time for what is the highest truth, right? And that means sometimes, I was in the right that time. Sometimes, you know what? I was wrong. And also honoring where your partner is strong, right? If your partner is very strong at emotional regulation and is good at repairing, let them lead in that versus, oh, this is unfamiliar with me, I'm not in the best position. You lead, right? So it is doing what will make the relationship the most successful. And why do you do that, guys? Because you love each other. You care about each other. You want to build something with each other, right? And that is why you learn to do that, guys. And usually it takes a lot of pain to get through that ego. A lot of pain. And for example, mine, because I used to be like, oh, I'm so smart. I know exactly what's going on here. And, oh, that person, the way they're articulating or communicating themselves, they're not intelligence. Their truth isn't. And then I was like, you know what? Life humbled me, brought me down to my knees, and I had to ask for help. And I've had to ask people for money. I begged for money. And then it made me realize, Hunter, you are doing such a disservice by not putting yourself in the best position possible to win and execute on your mission for God, right? Or for what is important to you. And we need each other. Relationships are so important because it's a team. Instead of just one going out in the world and trying to make it, and you now have two people. And if you could keep getting more people in that dynamic, it's going to be more powerful, guys. So those are some important concepts before we begin, right? And what we're going to talk about now is really what happens, right? And I wish I had a little picture for you guys, but you know, you have a flat line, right here, and then relationships, intimacies, building connection, love, you're seeing each other, you're more so in the honeymoon phase, and then you give some space to integrate, and that integration is so important for a relationship, to see how things are unfolding, how it's landing in people's systems. Is this mutually fulfilling, uplifting? Is this creating a good container? But then, guys, there's going to become a limit, because as that love continues to grow, the veils, the walls start dropping, and then that person's truth starts emerging, right? And this is the fullness of who they are. This is, now you're starting to see some more, the woundings, the traumas, the insecurities, the weaknesses, and it's all beautiful. It's all beautiful. That's what makes us, guys. That's what you will have the most powerful relationships, when you could share this freely in love and congruency, and not playing a victim like, oh, I'm a bad lover because I can't last long, or oh, I'm a bad lover because, you know, I have a deformed lip, or whatever, right? It's like, hey, this is what has been a pattern in the past. I'm working on it. I'm taking accountability for it. And I'm bringing that out into the open. This is me. This is who I am, right? And everyone's different. We all have our own fucking shit, guys. No one's perfect. No one is perfect. No one is perfect. No one is perfect. I have to emphasize that we all have fucking shadows and demons. And you know what? The people who are more open about it might seem like they're in a worse position, but they have awareness of it, and they're taking ownership of it. And if you're in a good situation, you're going to turn that into a strength, right? And so there's going to reach a point where there's conflict, right? So now that wave starts to dip down, right? Because shit's coming up, either for your partner or yourself, or both you guys. How you handle that disconnect, that conflict, that wounding, that trauma sets the stage of what happens next, right? And so if you have a genuine apology, and I mean like top of the line, elite, where you create a container of safety, of trust, of respect, and you allow people to share what is happening in their field, right? And you don't view it as an attack, you view it as this person is just sharing. And I'm doing this to see where they're at and what we could do together to work through it, right? And so they start sharing and communicating. You know, when you did this certain behavior, I felt this type of way in my body. And when you hear that, guys, reflect it to make sure you're understanding it. Just put yourself in their shoes, like, wow, I made this person feel like this, and validate. Feelings aren't always the most logical. They don't always make sense. And I don't mean you have to agree with it, and you don't even have to apologize every time, right? But you validate it, and you hear them, and you reflect it. And just by doing that, guys, they feel seen, heard, and understood. And then if the time calls and you are truly in the wrong because you are doing what's best for the relationship, you're doing what is in the highest alignment, and you make a sincere apology, like, hey babe, you know, when I am so sorry that when I was out of alignment, out of integrity, and it made you feel this type of way, that stings, that hurts me, I apologize. And then guys, then you flip it, you do the same thing for the other person, how they're feeling, what's coming up for them. And then the most beautiful part, guys, what's the plan moving forward? Working together, owning your part, because it always starts with you. They own their part of how they'll show up different. And then, guys, in that moment, your intimacy, your connection, your love, from where it was at on our map, it's even higher. It's even higher now. That conflict brought you guys closer together, and you've just set the framework and the foundation of how you're going to approach conflict in the future, because it's going to happen. It is going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to be smoother, easier, and it's going to allow you to reach deeper and deeper states of intimacy, connection, and your fullest truth, guys. It is so important how you handle conflict, guys. And another part of this that I want to share, guys, and that was a good apology, but say you make a half-hearted apology where you don't validate the other person, it's kind of half-assed, you're not showing empathy, you're not reflective listening, you're not going to be at a higher state of intimacy and connection. You might get to the same level, you might, and you'll stay there, and that may or may not be comfortable, but you'll always have that weight, right, and that resistance for that moment because you didn't fully heal it, you didn't fully clear it between you guys. So resentment's going to build up, and it's going to make it difficult when another conflict comes up because that one is still ruminating. It hasn't been fully released, right? And say you do no apology at all, guys. You're just like, nope, I'm done. You avoid it, you push it out. Now the intimacy is stuck where it's at a disconnect. There's wounding coming up. And guys, that is just immensely destructive. Pretty much the relationship is over at this point. This could be stonewalling, some gaslighting, some manipulation tactics, right? And it's a shame because you're not allowing the opportunity to go to deeper and deeper states of intimacy. When it's needed the most, right? And this is where true love requires commitment, it requires devotion, it requires showing up when all the shit comes up, guys. And so I just wanted to share this with you guys because it's important, and not a lot of people have the skills and tools needed to really build it, such as respect, trust, empathy, reflective listening, not listening to show I was right or is this. It's like, oh, this is your point. Okay, to make sure I understood, this is where you're coming from. Yes. And guys, how this starts, right, this process, and it gets easier, it takes practice. It's a skill. And the more that you cultivate it within yourself, the stronger it's going to be, right? How do you repair the conflict in your own life? Right? How do you repair the conflict within your woundings and your shadows and the destruction that's coming up in your life, right? Do you set a safe container? Do you truly listen to your emotions, your crazy monkey brain that's going off the limits? Do you listen to it? Do you feel the fullness of it? Do you make sure you're understanding it right? And then do you give it a sincere apology? And do you create a plan to move forward? Most of the time, no. Well, how do you expect to do this for another person, guys? So just keep in mind, the more that you take ownership and start doing this work internally, guys, it's going to allow you to do that for other people. And if you want the deepest states of love, the deepest states of connection, you have to work through conflict. And it is a gift. It is a gift. It is a gift. Stop running from it because it's uncomfortable. Start honoring it, honoring the deeper layers of yourself, and heal and ascend in love, guys, because we need love more than ever. I do offer one-on-one coaching for you to rise towards your highest frequency, vibration, and truth. I will guide you through every step of the way so you are honoring yourself fully and creating momentum and success. And always choose your light and empowerment. It all starts with you. Blessings and much love, fam.